وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. Inshallah, tonight we will go over the seerah of al-Mu'mineen, Salama radiallahu anha, the mother of the believers. Salama radiallahu anha, she is one of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As we mentioned last night, that after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's wife Zainab bint Khuzaymah passed away, and we also mentioned that she married to the Prophet ﷺ in the 3rd year of Hijrah, and she was only married for a couple months, and then she passed away. After she passes away, the Prophet ﷺ marries Salama radiallahu anha. She is nicknamed after her youngest child, Salama. She had 3 other children, Zainab and Amir, and another child. Salama was the oldest, and she is from the Makhzumi tribe of Quraysh, and her previous husband, Abu Salama, radiallahu anhu, both of them were one of the first comers to Islam. And Abu Salama is related to the Prophet ﷺ, as she is also related to the Prophet ﷺ. Her lineage goes all the way back from her father's side to the Prophet ﷺ, and they meet in somewhere in Kinana, of one of the grandfathers of the Prophet ﷺ. So all the way back. But they come from a specific clan within the Quraysh, which is called the Makhzumi clan. Her husband Abu Salama radiallahu anhu is related to the Prophet ﷺ, that he was the cousin of the Prophet ﷺ. His father, Abdullah's sister, was the mother of Abu Salama radiallahu anhu, so the cousin of the Prophet ﷺ. And also, he is a foster brother of the Prophet ﷺ, meaning that after the Prophet ﷺ, taking his breastfeed from his mother, the Prophet ﷺ also was nursed by a few other murdi'a, foster mothers. One of them was Thuwayba. Thuwayba is the slave girl of Abu Lahab, the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ. Also, Ayman radiallahu anha, according to some. But most of the scholars say that she was not a murdi'a, she didn't breastfeed the Prophet ﷺ, but she was a foster mother, that she took care of the Prophet ﷺ after his mother passes away, Ayman. Her name was Baraka. But however, Thuwayba was one of the murdi'a of the Prophet. As we know, who was the third? Anybody guess? It's a very famous name. Halima Sa'di. So Thuwayba was the first one, because she was the one that came to Abu Lahab and said, you know, you have a nephew. Your nephew Muhammad is born today. And he said, wow. He was so happy. And he set her free, Thuwayba. Interestingly, that Ayman, the other foster mother, was the slave girl of the Prophet ﷺ's father, Abdullah. And the Prophet ﷺ freed her. But however, the Prophet ﷺ, after his birth, when Abu Lahab freed her, someone saw a dream that Abu Lahab, he was asked that, how's it going? He said, I'm in terrible condition. I've been punished severely because of what I have done. Except that on Mondays, my punishment is decreased a little bit. And I drink from my fingers. I get something to drink. And he said, that was the fingers that I told Thuwayba that you are free, because of the happiness that he had by the birth of the Prophet ﷺ. And according to one hadith, that was a Sahih hadith, that where his punishment is decreased on Mondays. So that's one of the miracles of the birth of the Prophet ﷺ. However, Abu Salama is one of those that he also accompanied the Prophet ﷺ in being the foster children of Thuwayba. So also he is related, Salama radiallahu anha, she's related to Khalid ibn al-Walid radiallahu anhu, the cousin. She is a cousin of Khalid ibn al-Walid radiallahu anhu, one of the great Sahaba. So interestingly that somehow they're related to one another, as many of them are related to the Prophet ﷺ. They are the first comers to Islam, meaning from the first 40 people that accepted Islam, it was completed by Umar radiallahu anhu. But narrations indicate that both of them came to Islam before Umar radiallahu anhu, meaning from the very early days of Islam. Is it connected to my phone?
It's correct.
So they first come to Islam, and they are persecuted just like the other. Yes, they're also related to the Yasir, Yasir, radiallahu anha. The family of Yasir, they are also the ones that were persecuted big time. Anyway, they were also persecuted, and when the chance came to make hijrah to Habasha, to Ethiopia, they are the ones who also accompanied that group of people, both of them. And they went to Habasha, and then later on they came back. Abu Talib, the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ, gave them protection, and they came back. And then the second time when the caravan went to Habasha, they also migrated to Habasha again. And then after the 10th of Hijrah, there was a group of people that came from Medina, came to the Prophet ﷺ. According to some scholars, there were just 2 people. They met the Prophet ﷺ, and they said that we want you to come to Medina. And that was the first initiation of the migration to Medina. Then the second year, a group of people came from Medina, a larger group, and they met the Prophet ﷺ. And then in the third year, there were about 73 of them who came. Among them, there were 2 to 3 women. And in both of the 2 times that they came, they took also the pledge of allegiance to the Prophet ﷺ. It's called the Bay'ah. It's called the Bay'ah Aqaba Ula and Bay'ah Aqaba Thaniya. At the Bay'ah of the Aqaba Thaniya, when they saw, both of the couples saw that the Prophet ﷺ seems to be really serious about going to Medina, so they went to ask the Prophet ﷺ, can we migrate to Medina? The Prophet ﷺ said, yeah, by all means. So they went home, gathered whatever they could, put on the camel, and at that time they had only one child, Salama radiallahu anhu. 3 of them got on the camel and started to travel. And at this point, they are the first ones to go to Medina. Mus'ab bin Umayr is already sent as a representative of Islam, and he's working over there. But these are from one of the first ones to migrate from Mecca to Medina, way before the Prophet ﷺ, as he was almost the last ones to leave Mecca. So as they leave Mecca, the clan or the sub-tribes of the Makhzum clan, they find out, because now the family of Salama and the family of Abu Salama, they get to know that these people are traveling. So the family of Salama, they come and say, we are not going to let our individual leave with you. If you want to leave, you can leave by yourself. You're not taking one of our people. And you're not taking a child, because that's her child. So they're both going to stay. Now, on the other hand, the people of Abu Salama, they wanted the child. And a big fight started among the 3. Who's going to take who? Eventually, Abu Salama radiallahu anhu saw no other choice but to leave them behind, because of course now they're in the protection of her family. With that in mind, he said, okay, I'm going to leave to Medina and I'll see you later. He leaves, and now the 2 tribes are fighting. Salama radiallahu anha, she is then separated from her child, Salama. And now there are 3 of them are separated. And now she goes back home and she's very grieved. She lost her husband. The husband is gone. The child is also taken away. But obviously in the same city, but the child is not with her. And then she goes back again and again to the Kaaba and she cries. It's mentioned. She tells a whole story that she used to go onto Safa mountain. Safa was a little higher than Marwa at that time because they have Jabal Qais and Badhan, etc. And so she used to climb up there and face towards the Kaaba and just cry. And she will curse the people that took her child and curse the people that separated the family. And she was a very strong woman and very eloquent. And that was one of her characteristics, that she was very wise also. So the people of her family would see her often come there and sit there and just cry. And after some time, one of the family members came and said, have some mercy on this poor lady. You know, she is not with her child. You know, just, you know, let her go. Let her reunite with her family. They bring the child back to her and she takes the child, goes home, packs again, puts on the camel, and she is now leaving alone from Mecca all the way to Medina. It's a long journey. It takes several days to travel on a camel and very difficult. You know, it's a desert. It could be also a safety issue, but she has no fear. She is a very strong woman. And she gets on the camel and starts traveling. Now we know when we travel from Mecca to Medina, what comes on the way first when you leave Mecca, the city. Actually now it's included in the city. Tan'im, that's the highway that goes to Medina. So as she's passing Tan'im, Uthman ibn Talha radiallahu anhu passes by. And she kind of recalls the interaction that she had with Uthman ibn Talha. She says, I just wanted to check that. She says that I have not seen someone so benevolent and so good of character like Uthman ibn Talha radiallahu anhu, that he took my camel and he said, where are you going, Salama? I said, I'm going to Medina. Oh, you want to go to Medina? Are you going to travel alone? I said, yeah, I'm going to travel alone. My child is with me. I'm going to travel alone. I have everything there with me. I can do it. Uthman radiallahu anhu says, no, let me take you. I'm going to take you. And then she says that he just hold the camel's rope and just walking. He walked, and every time when they had to stop, he will make the camel kneel, make it sit down, and he would just walk away in a far distance, and he will just rest over there in a far distance. So he will keep a distance because it's a lady that is traveling alone, and he is not mahram to her, so there has to be that distance. Like the story of Musa alayhi salam with the daughters of which prophet? Shu'aib alayhi salam. So keeping that distance. So that's how he traveled all those days, making sure that she's okay. At one point, they lost the camel because she got off and left the camel untied. And then the camel ran away, and then he ran after it. It took a long while. He came back, he comes back, and then he says, I'm going to make sure that whenever I have the camel, I'll make sure I hold it until you get on and until you get off, so it doesn't run away. And I make sure that I tie it. And he was, that's his generosity. Until he gets to Quba, and he finds that, he says that this is where your husband is, and then that's how they unite in Quba at that time. And then he just heads back to Mecca. He did all that journey on foot to Medina and all the way back just to make sure that she gets to her new home safe. And so that's how good personality this Sahabi was. So then after that, when they unite together, Abu Salama radiallahu anhu is very pleased, and they continue their life. They have 3 more children. Abu Salama radiallahu anhu is a Badri Sahabi. He's one of those who attended Badr, and then he attends Uhud. And then in Uhud, many Sahaba, more than 70 of the Sahaba were injured. and he was injured on his arm, and he actually broke an arm, and he was also wounded very severely. After that, he also attended another expedition, a minor one, without the Prophet ﷺ, and even with that wound, it continued that way, and then that caused his life as well. He felt ill. But there's an interesting point that I'll like to end with, inshallah, we'll continue tomorrow, is that before he died, he knew that he was going to die. He was very sick, he was on a bed, and he said to Salama that they were talking about, what's going to happen after one of us dies, and they were kind of going back and forth, that you're not going to marry after if I die first, you're not going to marry after me, and likewise vice versa. And Salama, she says that, I'm not going to marry. He says, I'm not going to marry. And then after that he says, well, if I die first, I want you to marry someone, and I want you to marry someone who is even better than me. And he's like, who can be better than you? He said, I just find someone who's better than me and marry that person. And this is an indication that later on, the Prophet ﷺ will marry her. And we'll talk about that inshallah tomorrow. Subhanallah bihamdik, subhanallah al-azim, subhanakallah bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.